Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and making some really good trades as per usual. Let's dive right into the analysis. We actually have a good amount to cover today. We'll start off by taking a look at the SPY and not the small caps. Usually we start off with the small caps, but today we'll focus with the SPY. Getting a nice little update today, up 56 basis points, and actually I believe the futures on the NASDAQ have made a new all-time high. So historical moment today for the NASDAQ as we breach the 16,761 area to, put in a new a higher high. And yeah, basically, the markets are still very, very bullish, very optimistic about the soft landing, rate cuts, all that, the whole spiel. Right now, the S&P 500 has not made an all-time high, but it is very close to it. At this point, I would assume that we are going to make one, essentially because the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and almost every other index has well, I wouldn't say every other. I look at four of the major ones, and two out of four have made a new all-time high. So probably the odds are in our favor that we're going to keep the ball rolling and we're going to keep going. So right now, we still are looking for that pullback. It will come, right? Again, we've been focusing on it for quite a bit of time, and it appears to be that we could maybe potentially start to run into some pretty heavy resistance around the all-time high. So maybe we'll get a pop up and a rejection, and then that'll start the ABC correction. Or maybe we never pull back ever again and we just go up forever. So no, I'm just kidding. That's obviously not what I think is going to happen. But I also did not think that we would get such a substantial rally in such a short period of time. But never doubt the markets, right? So dumb money can really go crazy when they really want to go at it. And right now everyone's going all in on the rate cut trade. So market's going all in on this bet, and we've rallied basically, from the lows, we've rallied a total of 15%, right? A couple more percentage points, you're making new all-time highs, right? Taking a look at the daily, it's showing that we've lost momentum and it's starting to decrease. But today being another bullish day, it could very well have more, gas left into the tank. You can see we're starting to form a bit of a bearish divergence here on the momentum waves on the 1 hour. The daily is trying to curl in on terms of momentum waves to try to print a red dot. Then you might start to see some downwards price action, sort of what we saw in Bitcoin recently, right? We got a bit of a pullback, but I'm not going to be covering Bitcoin here. I'm just going to be covering the markets, the traditional markets. We could take a look at the 4 hour. We are getting some more institutional selling here at the highs. Not too surprising. The 1 hour probably flooded with institutional selling. And we actually got the #1 ranked trades recently in Apple, Microsoft, and I believe another one. I think it was Tesla or NVDA. A #1 ranked trade since inception, meaning this was the biggest trade ever recorded in one single order. Right, so I think it was in the range of $12 billion. So someone either bought $12 billion here, expecting a higher high, more upside price action, or they sold $12 billion. And again, obviously, being at the all-time highs, I would expect that someone is selling $12 billion. Again, this is in the dark pools trade, so you won't see it affect the price. All right. Let's move on. We'll take a look at some individual names. But yeah, I think you guys get the picture. We remain on the cautious side, watching this go up and up and up, because I can tell you things that are going vertical will usually not end very well. And everyone's getting very bullish and they are buying like it's nobody's business. And I think we talked about this many times. I said, if we get the rate cut scenario and the markets get the green light that Powell is going to cut rates, I told you guys that they're going to start buying like it's no one's business. And right now, it's not their business, but they're buying anyways. They are getting extremely long, right? So the retail is flipping extremely bullish. Anyways, let's get to the individual names here. All right, so we'll start off with Roku because we've been covering Roku for quite a bit of time. And right now, it looks like Roku has finally started its first wave towards the downside. Looking at the 4-hour momentum, the RSI has started to come down. The stochastics have been at the lower half for quite a bit of time. Looking at the 1 hour, yeah, you might be finishing this wave down soon, and you could be getting into a potential B wave retrace, which eventually will fail as well, and you'll come back down in a final C leg, right? Now we need to pay attention not to miss the B wave because sometimes it can be small, sometimes it can be very big, right? But given how the markets are, it could be a very big retrace and then a small C leg down, right? It just forms a bit of a bearish divergence on the larger time frames, and then you'll have your wave 2 in, and then you'll keep rallying into a 3. I believe this would be a 3 of 3, which would be extremely parabolic. You'd be going up like 10s and 20s and $40 points. You know, you'd be really like mooning, sort of like what you did back in COVID, right? Very euphoric rally, and you might get the similar situation here. Okay. All right, let's cover StarBUX here. Let's take a look at StarBUX, see what StarBUX is doing. So StarBUX is actually coming back down in that B wave like we talked about, and it actually retested the support level that we had outlined at $96.95. $96 or $95.99. And now you should be coming back up in the C leg. Let's take a look actually at Market Cypher, see what it's showing us here. Taking a look at the 4-hour. So it's showing us an ABC correction, but it could very well be finished at any time now. Technically, yeah, you could come back down, maybe come back down to that 92 level, something like this, and then you could continue back up. But I like the setup that we got currently going right now. It's very strong support. And let's take a look at Wave Edge. Maybe Wave Edge will actually give us some indications of what the market makers and big money is doing. So yeah, you're getting some long signals right now. Two green crosses on the daily time frame. 4-hour, nothing there, but you got that selling at the highs. And then on the 1 hour, you got all this accumulation here, right? So I would just wait. If you're in any long positions right now, regardless of like wherever you entered, I would be sitting on the long side and just waiting for a reversal to happen at any moment. The markets can keep pumping up parabolically. We do have some higher targets here, as outlined in some of my previous posts. I got targets right here at 510 to 540, but once we cross the all-time highs, it could finish at any moment, right? And it doesn't have to hit my target levels. But yeah, overall, trend setup looks okay on StarBUX. Nothing to complain about. Let's take a look here at. We'll take a look at some more individual names. I'll take a look at PayPal very quickly. Actually, no, we're not gonna. I don't think anything happened on PayPal today, so I think we could skip that one for today. Let's actually take a look at some other ones that I've been covering. Take a look at WBA. Right, WBA's got a nice little rally at the moment, and I'm doing a little bit of a covered call strategy on this one, and it's actually getting a nice little dip today. So I sold some calls and already in profit. I expect the price to retrace a little bit. It's a little bit overextended on the 1 hour time frame. The 4-hour is already starting to come down, and the 1 hour has come down significantly. Maybe it keeps pumping, but I mean it's been beaten down for quite a bit of time, right? And it's been beat down for actually a very long period of time, and it's at massive support. So maybe we consolidate at the lows here for a bit, and then we get a big rally, or we could just start rallying right away. But overall, very bullish on this stock. I mean, there's probably like problems and lots of bad news, but that's usually when you want to buy, right? And the same thing with Pfizer. When there's all this bad news starting to come out, everyone's dumping the stock, and then suddenly it rebounds and it just starts to come back up, way up, and then then by that time the bearish news is over and these people start to get bullish again, and then you've missed the opportunity to get in. But it's not always like that, right? Don't go buying bankrupt companies thinking like, oh, it's just bad news, it's time to buy. That's not how it works. Let's take a look at natural gas. Natural gas actually getting a nice little pop today, but could very well continue the trend towards the downside. Here, it very well could be in a fifth wave. The wave 4 could be in. Here we have technically met the the smallest requirements for a wave 4, I guess. And then you could come back down to that $1 or sub $1 targets, which would be recession, and then that's just very bad news overall if that does start to happen, because at that point the markets won't be going up either. Nothing will be going up. It's just going to be a complete sell-off. But I'm still very, very bullish on nat gas in the long term. In the short term, maybe not as much, right? But I will be adding to some positions once we get down to this level here. Taking a look at oil. Oil should be finished actually today after it's pumped back up in wave C. Oil could be finished here, and I've been talking about us coming back to retest the $74 to $75 level. I believe we did that today, and it was actually a nice little retrace from the lows here between the 1.618 to the 1.236. We actually went into that resistance area and came right back down. So now what it should be doing is coming down in a 5-wave move, and then you'll eventually get your 3 of 3 move, which is a very big down day in oil. Maybe you drop like $4 to $5, and then it's gonna shock a lot of people. So yeah, this is what should be coming next for oil. We'll take a look at nothing happening on the precious metals. Let me cover actually some big names here. Let's cover NVDA. So NVDA, did it make a new all-time high today? Let me just take a look here. Let's just get this out of the way. No, it did not. So technically, if we are looking for invalidation on this bearish setup for NVIDIA, then NVIDIA needs to push above 505 and 59 cents. After that, you need to continue this as a fifth wave extension, and this is a larger fourth wave correction, ABC, with an overshooting B wave, and then you are actually going to set up for a even more bullish count, which would be a 3 of 3 move, and that could take you up to like $700-800, something like that, right? And then you'll get your 3 of 3, right? And that's gonna be very, very bullish if that happens. All right, so that's basically it. So we got the bearish setup, we got the bullish setup for NVIDIA. You guys kind of know what's happening next. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple actually surprisingly had a down day today. I was actually curious to see that, and then the markets were all up and everyone was very bullish. But Apple's been getting a few down days these last 2 trading sessions. Maybe it's a sign, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just people cooling off before getting on the buying spree once again. But I'm not in any trades. I am in some trades actually on Apple, but I would not, I don't like the setup anymore. If you were just looking for like a short-term leverage trade, then I wouldn't be getting into this right now, right? Unless you want to, right? Because we have technically made a new all-time high, and we've pierced it by a bit, and now we're starting to come back down. Maybe it's finished, maybe it's not. I can't really tell you. That's a big down day in GoTo today. That's very parabolic run, and it came right back down 20%. Let me just cover let me take a look here, see what we got going on. Those are just crypto stocks, so not really worth taking a look at. We could finish it off with the dollar. So the dollar is trying to bottom out here. It is trying to find support. It's got bullish divergence, but right now the DXY, it's been rough for the DXY. The DXY is in red money flow on the daily right now. The weekly was shaping up, but now it's starting to roll over once again. Your red money flow there. The monthly has flipped from being extremely bullish to extremely bearish now, in my opinion. This looks like a failed move, and it's getting ready to roll over with a very tight momentum wave. So the dollar should actually start to come down significantly. This would be very bullish for miners, gold miners to be precise, silver miners, commodities in general, and even equities as a whole. The market can just keep flourishing if the dollar keeps going down, unless we get inflation coming back. Then commodities will keep going up, and you will actually have equities start to roll over because of inflation fears, right? So it's a very sensitive topic of inflation, whether the markets will go up or down on them, right? There's inflationary, moves that will push the markets up, but once inflation gets out of control and it hits the consumer and stuff like that, then it becomes bearish. But yeah, overall the dollar looks quite weak right now, and it could continue lower. Let's take a look at the UUP, which is the Investico dollar index, and we'll actually take a look at the daily, see what they were doing. Yeah, well, I mean, look at that. So right around the highs here, big money was unloading their positions at $29, and the dollar just started to implode since then. So I mean, that kind of tells us what they were thinking, what was going to happen, what did happen. And you can see how well these signals work. Big money accumulates at the lows, and they unload on the way up, but they don't always time it at the highs, right? Big money will try and time it at the lows, because once they buy for a reason, and it is to make money, right? And do they make money? Yes, they do, right? As you guys could probably tell, right? And this happens on multiple stocks. We just go back to the SPY, right? Look where big money was buying, smart money, right? Buying at the October lows. And look where they're selling today. They're selling at the July highs, which we did get a little bit of 10% retrace in the market. And now we're getting this very parabolic rally, but they can continue selling as we go up. So it's not to say that the top's in or it's all over. Right? But yeah, just something to pay attention to. Anyways, I don't really have much to add to this. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and have a wonderful evening. Peace.